welcome to Pursuit of Perfect System. Today is a sad day. Today's a sad day for two reasons. First reason, the last time I wore this shirt, it actually fitted me. And the second reason is today's the day I found out that we're losing Oppo from the Blu Ray Player, the Ultra HD Blu Ray Player market, the company that gave us this remote control, the very best remote control that I've ever used in my entire life. Motion activated with, it lights up as you touch it and move it and stuff like that. The buttons just work perfectly. The very best remote control for really the very best disc players that exist, and they're pulling out of the market. What is that all about? What a day. What a terrible day for the industry as a whole for so many reasons. And it reminds me of the day that we heard, or I found out, that Pioneer was pulling out of the TV market. What a shock that was, and it's a complete shock to me today that this is the situation, because we need Oppo in the market. Really, it's a travesty that they're pulling out. And why do you need them when there's Panasonic and Samsung and Sony making players? Well, Oppo set the bar, don't they? They set the bar for quality and they set the bar for performance, and it's the company that every other company has to live up to and try and compete against for quality at a much cheaper price point, which they never ever do. They compete on price, we know that, and if you want to buy a cheaper product, you can go and buy them. But when you want quality, when you want something that's reliable, robust, quality and premium, that performs outstandingly well, you buy one of these players, don't you? And what's really I think ironic for the situation is there's very few other products that cross over between hi-fi and home cinema, and the Oppos do. I mean, more the 05s than the 03s, but there's a load of people out there using 105s as Blu-ray players as well as CD players, because they're very universal. They play everything and they've got high quality DACs in them and they sound very good. So it's not just a bad day for home cinema, it's a bad day for hi-fi, and I think it's just a bad day for our enthusiasm industry in general. And it's not just the fact we're losing a major player and we're losing a king, the king really from the disc player market. Is that what does that hold for the future? And what scares me about the future is, are we now going to see the cycle of the race to the bottom? Who can bring us the cheapest possible product and who can bring us the cheapest possible service? And nothing's ever good when it's cheap. I'm sorry, I don't believe there's anything out there that's good that's cheap. Everything that's good you have to pay for, and these players are expensive, and that's possibly what's cost them a little bit, but at the same time they need to be expensive. We need these companies to make money in order to stay in business, so they keep bringing us new products. Now I think the new product is the issue for Oppo, because where do they go from here? They've released the 203, the 205, and what do they do next? What can they give us next? It's a real difficult one for them. I did think they might bring out a new round of players with all the streaming services and stuff built in. I thought that might be an angle for them. They was quite clever with the 103 and the 105 because they had Dolby processing to those. And I bet there was a load of existing owners that sold the 103 and 105 and bought the D version because it gave them Dolby processing, which gave them definitely better picture quality. Dolby in action definitely worked. But I don't know if there is a Dolby for 4K. Do you really need a Dolby when you got 4K? And maybe it needs a monstrous amount of processing power to do it, and how much money does that cost to implement? So maybe that was ruled out as a future business model for them. So where do they go next? Did they saturate the market? Did everybody buy a player that's going to buy one, and the sales have gradually petered off? Especially when the other manufacturers are bringing out cheaper and cheaper and cheaper players, which if you read around, some people will say they perform at exactly the same level. So where's the interest, and why would anybody buy a premium player unless they're an extreme enthusiast? So I suppose their market has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk, which is a real shame, because we're never going to see another one again. So if you've got one, now's the time to probably hang on to it, unless you're not going to use it anymore, unless all you're doing is streaming services, and you'll probably get a nice pretty penny on it. Now the streaming services bit that actually concerns me, because I love Netflix. I love Netflix, and I've been watching Amazon Prime Video recently, been watching Vikings on that, and I've been absolutely loving it. What fantastic services they are. But I don't watch those really for the quality of them, certainly not for the quality of the audio, and not even for the quality of the video. I watch them because the content's just fantastic. But when I actually want to be thrilled with an experience, I sit my butt down in that chair, I put this system on with a disc, and that's the only time that I'm ever totally thrilled by the experience of a cinema system, or a home cinema system, sorry. And to be honest, I'm very rarely thrilled at the experience of a cinema, It's when you get in your home cinema where you put all your love and attention into it. That's the time where you're thrilled, aren't you? And I'm sure there's loads of people out there that feel the same. So what scares me about that is, you know, are we losing the disc? Because the Ultra HD Blu-rays, they're coming, but they're coming so slow, and we're still getting all the old crap re-released. Really, it's not really what we want. We want older films being re-released, but not the ones they're giving us. I think they need to be giving us much more modern old films, and that's not what they're doing, and that's really frustrating. We had a bit of a flurry, didn't we, at the start with Lucy and Pacific Rim and stuff like that, but think how many films there are within the last 10 years that they could give us on Ultra HD. I can't believe they haven't given us The Hobbits yet. I can't believe they haven't given us Lord of the Rings yet, the ones that's going to get people buying the disc. Instead they're giving us Terminator and stuff like that, which I know there's a load of people that love Terminator and Blade Runner and stuff like that, but really, is that the people that's going to buy it? The more mass market, it's going to be Hobbit and stuff like that. But anyway, different story. The problem, my concern with streaming services is if we lose the disc and we lose the disc players and all we're left with is streaming services, I just know it's going to be a race to the bottom. It will just be a race to who can give you the most for the least, because there's no king, there's no benchmark setter. As it stands, the disc sets the benchmark and all the other streaming services have to follow. And I know Apple's supposed to be giving us, you know, good quality. I know you can get Dolby Vision and stuff over streaming, but really, is it as good? Do you get the exact same bit rates? Do you get the exact same sound codecs? Or is it laboured and limited like some of the music streaming services are? It's got to be, isn't it? It's got to be. And even if they're trying to give us better and better for streaming now to compete with the disc, if the disc is gone, they're just going to scale that back because the competition's not there, and these businesses care more about making money than they do about providing a quality of service. I don't blame them for that, and we need them to make money for them to stay in business. So it's a sad day, and I could talk about it all day, to be honest. It's a sad, sad day, but it's a good day to sneeze. It's a excuse me. It's a good day to upgrade. Now, from an Oppo, how do you upgrade from an Oppo? Where do you go from an Oppo? Well, you don't go anywhere. You upgrade the Oppo. Well, how can you upgrade an Oppo? Well, you can. There's two companies in existence that already upgrade Oppos that you can straight out buy. One of them is called Mod. They did a load of really popular and famous and well-known upgrades to the Oppo 103 and the 103 and the 105 with put the tubes in them and stuff like that. Everybody's seen those. Supposedly sound fantastic. They've done the same again with the 205. Now, a company that's gone a bit further, because Mod-Right's really based around their stereo performance, a company that's gone much further than that is a company called Audiocom, and they had a 103, 105 reference and signature edition, and they've brought out a 203 and a 205 signature edition where they change power supplies, they change clocks, and they change a load of other stuff on there, and they upgrade stuff and really try and push the performance of the player for its video and its music playback. Now, they look fantastic, and I would love to get one of those in for review, but they are triple expensive and difficult to justify. Really, really difficult to justify unless you've got seriously deep pockets and you really want to push it to the nth degree. Now, I want to push things to the nth degree, but my pockets sadly are just not deep enough. So what can a man do when he can't afford an Audiocom and he's not interested in the stereo playback, so he's not interested in an Oppo, in a Mod-Right? He can look to a company called Oppo Mod. Now, I don't know if any of you all know Oppo Mod, but basically it's run by a guy, Yong Lee or something like that. Basically, he upgrades. He was upgrading 103s and 105s like a lot of people were, and he's done upgrades for the 203 and the 205. Now, those upgrades, the things he's done, improve power supply, take rid of the SMPS, get rid of that and put a really good quality linear power supply in, make upgrades to stop vibration within the drive chassis, much better clocks on different parts of the board, and there's quite a lot of other upgrades that he's done, and to me it's like one of those hobby type things. It's not really a business, it's done as a hobby, and he sells the bits that he does on the side, and he's got a blog, and I've been following that blog literally since the day one that I owned the 203. Now, I've wanted to do these upgrades since right at the very start. I wanted to do these upgrades, but I was concerned because when the Oppo 203 came out, it had so many bugs, so many things that wasn't right with it. I didn't know if I had a dud player. Now, having had dud Blu Ray players in the past, which turned out to be just firmware, I was more confident just to ride it out, knowing full well that the Oppo would get the firmware right eventually and they'd fix it. Now, interestingly, the latest firmware gave us loads of new features. Some of them don't work properly, so it seems like they're fixing things and breaking things at the same time. So I've ordered today the linear power supply for the Oppo 203, the special edition version, the top of the range one, and I've also ordered a chassis dampener for the CD drive to reduce mechanical vibration. And I'm really interested to see whether that gives us any more performance, because I doubt whether we'll get any picture performance, because I just don't think with a projected image it's that sensitive. But I do think for audio we'll see a nice improvement. So what I'll try and do, I can't do any movie recordings because it just won't come out properly, you know, it won't get through YouTube copyright, but I'll try and do a before and after for stereo playback, for a CD playback, and we'll compare the two, and I'll do a video for the whole build where I take the 203 apart, change all the parts in it, put it all back together, and hopefully it doesn't blow up. Now the reason I ordered the parts today, because I thought if I cock it up and blow something up or damage something, there's still time to get another one. If I leave it 6 months, they might all be sold out and I'll never get to own another Oppo 203. So it's a sad day, but I've turned a sad day into a positive day by getting the parts that I've wanted for months and months and months, or ordering them to do these upgrades. So when they all come through, I'll update you, we'll start the video series and we'll see how we get on. Now I just need to lose some weight so I can fit into this shirt. Oh, hopefully there's not another funeral for a long time. Who are we going to lose next? So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a bit of a, a bit of a tease, a bit of a, trying to make a light-hearted situation of something that's actually really terrible. It's terrible news to lose Oppo. It's absolutely terrible. It's as bad as losing Pioneer from the TV market, which I don't think ever has really recovered from that. Not from an enthusiast point of view. Not really when you think about it. It's a sad, sad day. So yeah, take care. Visit the website. We'll be seeing you soon. Thumbs up. All that jazz. Take care.